And so that's just for me. I just want to make sure that they understand that they can and demand that kind of service that will then allow them to change their mindset and stop being a business owner with a job and be a CEO of a business. So my goal is to help them grow and to grow in a really safe way, a scalable way. So sometimes it takes a little while to get that scalability, and that speaks to what Tristan was saying about automation, and that's really important. That's one of the key things, because then if you do automation, you can I don't want to say automatically, but you can then have inherent in the automation, let's put it that way, that you have that consistency that's there. So people are going to do things the same way. And I do have a heart for nonprofits. So Pamela, I'm really thrilled to hear that you're doing nonprofits. They also have the same situation. And fortunately, I have a client who is a grant writer and is developing her own software that soon I hope will go to market. And so then small, grant writers can afford, small organizations can afford to do these things and not have to spend a lot of money on grant writers. And let's see what else. Oh, and one other thing, I am starting to do valuation services of business. First, I'm doing them just so that businesses know or have a general idea of what their business is worth. So, a few of them know, but most of them don't know. But, everybody wants to know. As a fractional CFO, the challenges I have in the beginning to work with somebody is to get them to identify what their KPIs are, their key performance indicators. What is their mission and value statement, which I tell them, please go watch the, What is Your Why by Simon Sinek. That helps them to really quickly establish that. But then I also say, okay, I can use this valuation for you, and it will give you key performance indicators. And it'll tell you what areas, and compared to others in your industry, because I'm using the industry codes, you are a little bit short on. Where can we start to work on it? And so that way they automatically start to understand the power of having KPIs, to be able to monitor their business in a really quick way. So I do look to, I think he left, right? Anyway, I do look to, working with Richard, perhaps you, Jake. I'd love to talk with you a little bit about what that might look like. For my clients that I'm a fractional CFO for, I actually provide them the evaluation free every year. But then I have clients that just do it. And I also have a firm that oversees what I do, so they can actually add that extra layer of certification so that it'll stand up in court. So anyway, that's me. So speaking to what, like Tristan was talking about, the automation, last week he suggested something that, Santiago and I are going to do that I think is going to really change my world in a very interesting way, which is that when I meet with somebody, I send them a thank you email. Thanks for meeting with me, yada, yada, yada. And so then I have a template of a Word document that I copy and paste. So that takes time to put it into, the high level is the CRM tool that I use, and send them off that email. I like to do it as quickly as I can. One, otherwise, if I don't, I'll forget. But two, it also makes an impression on people. I get a lot of emails back going, wow, that was really fast. You really, followed up with what you said you were going to do. On occasion, I'll forget, but most of the time it isn't. But he suggested in high level, you can write a workflow that will take you through certain steps and do all that and give you a template email that you can then edit. But anyway, so does anybody here use a CRM tool? And if you do, is it really a valuable piece of your business? So Jake, I think you're on mute. Oh, there we go. There you go.
It may be my headset. Can you hear me now?
No, yeah, we can hear you now.
I may have to blame it on Elon Musk and Starlink, the flag. But it's a crucial part of our business. In fact, we just landed the biggest deal we've ever done in our history of our company. We're bringing over 3 partners that have 3 agencies of insurance agents, about 600 agents. It's going to mean they're doing about 100 million a year. We're going to pick up about 5 million in revenue. Just the main reason we got them is that we're offering our CRM at no cost to them, and we can prove to them it can grow their sales. And these guys are old school marketers. One of the partners has 15,000 clients, and he doesn't even contact them. They just sell and move on, and they're leaving so much on the table. And we've been using this for years, and so we can teach them how to use automation with some personal touches. And the CRM is not just a CRM, but you can take prospects and turn them into clients, and clients into more business, and nurture those clients, and make it a lot less friction for the person doing the sales or the interaction with their clients, instead of pushing paperwork and writing emails and that sort of thing. So yeah, it was the reason why we brought them over. And we offer other stuff. We have radio, a radio show that we're about to take nationwide. So
great.
The cities that they are in, we can give them radio exposure and say Houston. We're in Nashville, by the way, and Houston or Fort Lauderdale, wherever they happen to be. And then we barter trade shows with radio because we have ads that we can run. So when a trade show comes through that aligns with what we're doing, we'll contact them and say, hey, how would you like some free advertising to drive foot traffic to your trade show coming up? All we want is a booth. And we get free trade show booths like that all the time. And in fact, we're doing one coming up in the next couple of weeks. So we can offer that to a third party. So and the other thing is we have some of the highest contracts in the industry when it comes to commissions on insurance and annuities. And so we can actually bring somebody on board like that and maybe give them a bump in pay, or maybe they're happy this company was happy to stay where they were, just run their contracts through us. We'll pick up an extra 5 to 7 percentage points on their business without them taking a pay cut, and they get all this marketing for free, which that CRM is the linchpin to making that work.
Sure. Tristan, you had a comment?
Yes, but I also think Richard had something to say, but I'll let him go first. It looked like
Go ahead, Richard.
I was introducing myself, I guess. I'm Richard Mackey. My business is Tax by Design Associates. And I spend a lot of my time educating people on the difference between the interests of the IRS and the interests of the tax code. To not know the difference is very expensive, and I take people through the opportunity they might not have otherwise have seen with regard to minimizing their income tax outgo, which evolves into estate planning as well. In the Rochester, New York area. I think that's part of the description of what we're supposed to say in the introduction.
Yes.
And
sorry, Richard.
That's okay. So there you have it.
All right.
So jumping right. So it's funny. CRM is a solution, but no one asked the question. We think we know the question because, our sales are falling off because of a reason. There's really only probably like 5 core reasons, but they mix into, like Mexican food. There's 5 ingredients, but 1 million items as the analogy. And very rarely do we realize that every individual person, the CRM's goal is to solve the problem of the person being a human. You know why I don't sometimes get an email written? Not because I don't have a template saved, but because I don't remember where I saved it. I didn't put a quick link. Or if I did put a quick link on my taskbar to save me, it's hidden in 7 folders. So now I'm just not doing it. And when we're looking at CRMs, a real big part of the 2 things we're considering. 1, data entry is invaluable. So if you can't get someone to actually interact with your CRM, 1, you already have a huge problem. And there's several ways around that with AI tools, but how hard it is to actually get someone to use a tool that will better their life because it's different and it's a change. And most CRMs really kind of hold you very tightly. I don't know if you know this, people who deal in sales, they tend to be very loose and wily. That's kind of part of their rhythm. They love that about it. So a CRM's biggest fail point is it is not shown to be the thing that will facilitate the salesperson being successful. It is the tool that you need to put this in because I don't know where we're falling off. And by the way, I'm going to know you're falling off as a side effect. No, thank you. I didn't want to take notes in the first place. I don't care if this does my emails. So there's a huge underlining thing of well, as a company, where are our fall offs in our process? As a company with people, where are our people's needs? And I'm talking about the top 10%. I'm a big person that you focus on your winners because then you can afford your losers. If you focus on your losers, your winners are going to leave and your whole company is going to get fired. You can have 3 people that can afford you to bring up the other ones over time. You can't afford to lose your best people. But you realize like, oh, this is the problem? Cool. The CRM can do this. And then you start to realize, how do I facilitate the CRM doing what's best for that person's needs to move forward? Because yes, its goal is to show where our fall offs are and increase our total outcome of sales.